High Court challenge questioning the legality of COVID-19 vaccination mandates for police and Defence Force employees has been upheld, with the court on Friday determining that the government mandate is unjustified when it comes to the Bill of Rights. And joining us now is employment relations expert Max Whitehead. Max, good morning to you.
Good morning, Chris. Yeah, that's quite a significant decision. This will have repercussions right across New Zealand.
Were you surprised that the High Court was in favour of what the police went to the High Court for?
Yes, absolutely. I was quite surprised. There's been a previous number of three to four cases that have gone through the High Court that have failed, and each one of them, it was probably the issue that they raised, their claims to the court, their allegations, which actually steered them wrong. And this particular judge, Justice Cook, actually oversaw, I think, one or even two of those judgments. And with this one, he was happy to say illegal.
The group relied on two aspects of the Bill of Rights, didn't they? The right to decline a medical procedure and the right to religious freedoms. Do you suspect there was one argument there stronger than the other?
The religious freedom one really was quite specific. That one really said, look, the Pfizer vaccine was tested on aborted fetuses, and with that a person who is anti-abortion due to religious grounds would have a right to be abhorrent on the fact of that they're going to put that same Pfizer vaccine into their bodies, and they would have a right to refuse medical treatment on that. That was hugely significant, I think. There was a number of other things, of course, as well, Chris, that the High Court said, which I think are base principles that can be carried on to other mandates, and argued that, in fact, they should be struck out as well.
Do you think then this will have other sectors on edge, or do you suspect we could see a flood of other sectors going to the High Court saying, well, you've done it for police and Defence Force, what about teachers? What about the rest of us?
I suspect it takes a brave and a wealthy person to take a case to the High Court. And it's not for the lighthearted, and it can be expensive, as I keep saying, but certainly I do think there will be further challenges here. There are a lot of people who've lost their job. For example, the health sector. There'll be hundreds and hundreds of people there. Now, that was a factor as well in this decision. What the High Court said, New Zealand's highly vaccinated. 95% of eligible are vaccinated. And with that, within the police, it was only a small number that, in fact, had refused vaccination. And that was part of the reasoning. They decided that the mandate was unnecessary. He said they already had policies within the police that didn't require this mandate on top of it. Why the government wanted to intrude and put a mandate on, well, it's still, obviously the judge was bewildered. In fact, I got to say, I don't think he's too impressed with the minister, Michael Wood, as well. He was saying that his reasoning for going into and putting this into place was actually at odds with the legislation that allowed him to do it. In fact, he said it was a mismatch, his exact words, a mismatch of the minister's objectives with the objectives of the Act. And there's many other factors in there that he wasn't too impressed with. But let's get back to it too. What about the average person in the street who's lost his job? Could they, in fact, challenge it? The answer is today, yes. But if this decision's appealed, and that's the big question, if it's appealed, then obviously everything's on hold again, and that would feed into the government's own hands. The government would be better off to delay the impact of this decision until Omicron passes. Yeah. So once it's gone, there's no need for mandates anymore.
And that's why the government won't want to be seen to be challenging this, because they will look embarrassed, won't they? They will look like they've got egg on their face, particularly given the fact that Michael Wood made an extraordinary statement trying to blame police, saying the request for vaccination mandates originally came from police and defence. So before making any decision, we will go back to them to assess the implications for their operations. That may be the case, but it looks like a minister that can't accept a High Court ruling and palming it off to somebody else. That's what it looks like to me.
Oh, look, I definitely agree. This minister's the same minister that poured was over $100 million of New Zealanders' money into a cycle bridge for his mates in, Herne Bay to the North Shore. And also now he wants to spend billions to put a light rail or a light rail into his own constituency of Mount Roskill, and it's going to cost us billions. And he's quite happy for the New Zealanders to pay for these things. He's made some bungles, and you're right, already there's the egg on the face. The courts have researched this, and we must have respect for these courts. And they've come out with the decision to say, hey, you've got it wrong, Minister, and that also challenges all the other mandates now and puts them all at risk. I would dare say there will be, if it's not challenged, somebody will take other mandates and put them through the High Court as well.
Is your gut feeling that these mandates, well, we know they will be dropped eventually, but do you think they will go probably when the peak of Omicron goes as well? So therefore, it looks like they were well intended in the first place.
Well, we've heard the Prime Minister say it before. You protesters, you're not getting me to back off on these rules. And the few rules I'm backing up on, it's not your doing. Well, we're seeing it happen. There's a high probability, I think, that mandates will be coming off pretty quickly soon. And yes, the protesters are having an effect. And I do think that this decision, you're right, already there's the egg on the face. The courts have researched this, and we must have respect for these courts. And they've come out with the decision to say, hey, you've got it wrong, Minister, and that also challenges all the other mandates now and puts them all at risk. Somebody will take other mandates and put them through the High Court as well.
Is your gut feeling that these mandates, well, we know they will be dropped eventually, but do you think they will go probably when the peak of Omicron goes as well? So therefore, it looks like they were well intended in the first place.
Courts are saying you've got it wrong. So I think it's highly embarrassing for this government, and they'll either try and hush it up and keep it quiet, or they will go and appeal it. Look, Chris, thank you for actually taking notice of this, because the more the public see what the courts are saying, this is a high court as well, well-respected court of New Zealand, and what they're saying about their rulings on mandates is kind of shameful, I think.
If you were the employment lawyer for the police and defence force and the 37 or so that were looking into this, would you be going for compensation?
Oh, absolutely. I would think that even a private business, those employees now could challenge the employer and saying, hey, on the basis that I have a right to refuse medical treatment, and the Pfizer vaccine was tested on cells derived from aborted fetuses, my religious beliefs don't allow that to happen, and you dismiss me and discriminating against my religious beliefs. Now, I would think a lot of people are going to pick up that argument and run with it.
Yeah, it's going to open up a whole box. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few days, that's for
28
sure.
days to go, Chris. We find out whether they're going to appeal or not. That's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time, and who knows, hopefully by that stage, the peak of Omicron in New Zealand may be gone. Max Whitehead, employment relations expert, good to have you back on the program. Have a lovely day.